Oh, hello, it is you! Come into my gingerbread house, my gingerbread cookies. We are doing a 45-minute Gingerbread Man workout. Yay! Okay, that might have been a little weird. That's okay. Okay, so if this is your first time doing a workout from this series, just so you know, it's based on trying to maintain a gingerbread man cookie shape as much as possible. So you'll spend a lot of time with your limbs as straight as possible and outstretched, wide stances, hinged movements, things like that. So we'll be starting out with some triangle stretches. Take your arms out to the side and bend over to the side. And touch the floor if you can, or just get as close as you can. Perfect. And about halfway through, we will switch to the other side. And switch. So this is one of my favorite stretches. You should feel it all in the side of your body that's obviously that's under the most attention. And it's still in a gingerbread man shape, more or less. Okay, next is good mornings. So we're just hinging at the hips. To stay in keeping with the gingerbread man theme, my arms are out, but you can put them on your hips or just at your side if you want. Whatever works for you, just as long as you are feeling the stretch in your legs and your glutes and your back. Next up will be twists with knee lifts. You can choose the direction of your twist. I just want to make sure that you are feeling your oblique muscle. Right, I was trying to remember which way to twist. As long as you feel the stretch in your obliques, that's what matters. As you can see, I'm doing 2 twists on each side before switching. You can do that if you want to, or just alternate with 1 twist on each side, whatever works. Okay, next is straight-legged front kicks. So, keeping your arms outstretched and just trying to keep your legs as straight as you can while kicking forward. You should feel that stretch in the backs of your legs and probably your glutes. Okay, and we are going back to the triangle stretches. So, to the side. You might feel awkward, you might feel a lot of tension, but as long as you are feeling the stretch where you should be feeling it in the side of your body, that's what matters. Okay, just a few more seconds of that one, and then we are going back to the good mornings, and go. Try to push your butt back even more than I am doing here. The more you do that, the more you are stretching all the muscles that need to be stretched. Keep going, and then we are going back into those twists with knee lifts. Okay. So we don't do a lot of leg bending in this workout, but we do a little bit. So that's another reason why we are doing this move. Getting your legs all nice and warmed up for the tension that you will be putting on them. Alright, and those straight-legged front kicks again. If you are able to go from one kick into the other without pausing to take a few steps, feel free. Please also excuse the sweat. Okay. And it is time for the penguin crunches. So this this first circuit is called the crunchy cookie on a pan. We'll be doing a lot of crunches, as though you are a cookie coming to life on a pan. Alright, so yes, you are lifting your neck and your shoulders up off the mat or the floor, legs straight and flat on the ground, and just going back and forth. Oftentimes I see this move done with the legs or the knees bent. And it's sometimes called heel touches instead of penguin crunches, but I think penguin crunches is a more entertaining name. Okay, perfect. Next up will be X crunches. Okay. So for this one, you will be lifting your leg as straight as you can and getting to the opposite arm. Perfect. If you struggle with getting your neck and shoulders off the floor, you can keep them on the floor and just lift up your leg as much as you can toward your raised arm. You should still feel the work in your core. Keep going. Almost there. Okay. Alright, next up will be crunches to twists. Here's where you're really getting into your new life as a cookie. You are peeling yourself up off the pan, or the cookie sheet, whatever you want to call it. And then you will be doing a twist to one side. So, legs still flat on the ground, and you twist, and then switch to the other side, and just keep going like that. Try to roll back down as slowly as you can. Sometimes I let myself back down to the floor a little too quickly because I'm just so happy to be resting my core. But try to maintain control and try to keep your legs as flat on the ground as you can. That's a struggle for me too. Okay. Same basic concept, we'll be doing roll-ups. I believe this is a Pilates move. But you'll be on the ground, and this time you're coming up all the way up, and you're going to try to touch your toes, or at least as close as you can. Okay? Or at least you would if your arms are outstretched. Pause before going all the way down. Keep your arms outstretched. You are still a cookie. Okay. Oh, you can move your arms a little bit if you want to. Go down, back up. Oh, my legs keep coming up off the floor. Okay. This is a tough move. You might feel some shaking, which is perfectly normal. Oh, got it. Alright, back to the penguin crunches. Don't mind me, past self had to remember that I still had to go through that circuit one more time, and we are ready to go. Up, and side to side. I enjoyed the pun with calling this circuit the crunchy cookie on a pan because there's so many crunches involved. I like to work my core. The core is so important for so much of your life. It helps your with your posture. It helps you maintain good form on other exercises. It just helps your body overall be strong. And stop. But of course, it can also help with developing hard abs. But ironically, cookies, gingerbread cookies and any other kind of cookie, won't necessarily help with that part. I would love to have a rock hard six-pack, but exercise alone won't get you there. The food that you eat is probably the most important aspect of it. And even though I can do lots of crunches and other exercises, the food part, I mean, I eat fairly well, but I could definitely do better if I were to ever fulfill my goal of eventually having a visible six-pack. Well, and I realize that might not be possible no matter how cleanly I eat. Anyway, just remember that these crunches are good for you. They're very good for you, and they are helpful, but it's not all that you need for hard abs. Crunches to twists. Up and twist. And keep going. If you struggle with this move at all, just go up as high as you can. It can just be regular crunches if you'd like. You can also just go ahead and bend your knees if that helps you to get up, as long as you are still using your core more than your hips. It's fine. And done. Back to those roll-ups, and be ready to make some pauses. Okay, and up, yes, and pause, hold it, and down, and up, and hold it, You can keep your arms stationary or move them around like I do, just for a little extra challenge. Okay, up and up and up and down. Try to get up one more time. Yes, you got it. Nice work. Okay, now we are moving on to the next circuit. This one's called the I'm Alive circuit. It's just where the gingerbread man cookie, or you as a gingerbread man or gingerbread person cookie, are embracing life. So as you can see, these are just little direction switches with hops. I call it a cookie pose hop because my mom used to buy gingerbread man cookies that were slightly slanted in one direction, as though the cookie was in the middle of running. And I loved eating those cookies every holiday season. If you have any trouble with the hopping, you can just step and twist in each direction. Okay. And I do feel like I have to explain again. I was creating these workouts during the summer and it was very hot and I was sweating a lot. So please forgive all the sweat. Okay, squat, and with your legs out, or with your arms out, lift your leg, keeping it as straight as possible. You should feel this working your legs and your obliques. Still maintaining that basic gingerbread man cookie shape and accommodating for the limited mobility by just doing bending and hinging, like with this squat. It's okay if you can't lift your leg up very high, or if you just can only lift up a knee or something like that. Okay. And we are doing that same exercise on the other side. Get ready and go! So, here's a little bit of trivia for you in case you are interested. Have you ever wondered where the word gingerbread comes from? I really hadn't until I read this. It comes from an old French word, and I don't really speak French. When I have tried, it usually does not go very well. Like, you know, I try to sing the names of the foods in that song "Be Our Guest" from Beauty and the Beast, and I can't. I don't know. French does not mix well, I guess, with my tongue. Okay, so gorilla hops. So basically this is like a sumo squat, or just a deep squat, and you're hopping as deep a squat as you can get anyway, and you're hopping from side to side with your arms out. I got the inspiration for this move from those old Donkey Kong and Mario arcade games. You've probably seen them before, but if you haven't, Donkey Kong, or some predecessor of Donkey Kong, was one of the villains in the early Mario games, and he kind of did this little hop with his legs in a squat position, and I was like, well, that looks like a good exercise. Okay, and done with that one. Now we are going to cross body hops. So your legs will be in a wide stance, your arms will be outstretched, and you'll just hinge forward. And as you come back up, you just do a little hop, just like that. Perfect. Yes. If you're uncomfortable hopping for any reason, you can just raise yourself up on your toes for that little moment. That's perfectly fine. Or just don't do anything at all. Just keep crossing your body over. Whatever you do, just don't stop moving. Anyway, sorry, I have not forgotten about the origins of the word gingerbread. The old French word is, I am gonna take a guess that it's pronounced Gingerbread. It's spelled Giembras, and it means gingered food. Okay. Now, another quick interjection, cross-body kicks. Your arms will be outstretched, and you will basically lift up your leg as straight as you can in a diagonal direction. So this is sort of like the straight-legged front kicks that we were doing, except that you're kind of going in a more diagonal direction, and you're adding in a hop if you want to. I like to hop. So, keep going. Over time, Middle English sort of transformed the word Gingerbread, or, you know, I'm sure that I'm not quite pronouncing that correctly, but eventually it became more like gingerbread, and that eventually became gingerbread. So now it can pretty much describe anything that involves honey and ginger and molasses all together. Okay, now doing cross-body kicks on the other side of your body. And by the way, probably the word gingerbread originated in France because an Armenian monk brought it to France in the I always say 19, but it's not 990s. So that's when it was first introduced to Europe, but it had existed in ancient Egypt, obviously, for a very long time. I mean, we're talking ancient Egypt, so many years before that. It was mainly used for ceremonial purposes in Egypt, and the Greeks also used to make it. Okay, Going back to those cookie pose hops. Okay. Yes. This is a little bit like a dance move too. Well, or maybe I only think of it that way because I'm not a very good dancer to begin with. So I'm like, oh, this is totally a good dance move. And probably a lot of other people will be like, no, you should never ever do that. Fortunately, I don't really go very many places that require dancing. I just like dancing on my own sometimes. Just to express joy or get some energy out or whatever. Almost done. And good. Back to those squats and lateral leg lifts. So, speaking of, okay, ready and go. Speaking of gingerbread being used in Egyptian religious rituals, once gingerbread became popular in Europe, some monks from the Middle Ages also started using it in a way for religious rituals. They would carve biblical scenes or pictures of saints into the gingerbread, and so then they would feed the hungry with the gingerbread, and also use the images in the gingerbread to teach biblical lessons or history at the same time. Multitasking! And from there, other bakers started making gingerbread in other shapes. Queen Elizabeth I was the first person to ask for gingerbread men. Specifically, she wanted it to impress her dignitaries and visitors at court by making gingerbread in the shape of people, especially the people who visited her and who worked with her. If you lose your balance, don't worry about it, just keep going. And if you sweat a lot like I do, just keep going. Don't be ashamed of sweat though. As long as you are staying hydrated, sweat really is just weakness leaving the body. Or is that pain? Probably both. Okay, back to those gorilla hops. With a little dance break in between if you want to. And go! I think gorilla squat hops are pretty fun, honestly. But of course, I think most of these moves are fun, which is partly why I create these workouts. I think they're fun. And I hope that you're having fun too. Okay. Now, are you interested, or can I interest you, in a little bit of trivia about gingerbread houses? I sure hope so. I mean, you're sort of a captive audience for me at this point, unless you stop this video, which you shouldn't, because then how are you going to finish your gingerbread man workout? How are you going to be as powerful and magical as a gingerbread man from a fantasy fairy tale if you don't finish this workout? I mean, all of your magical powers and experiences hinge on this. Okay, anyway. So gingerbread houses first started to become popular in the 16th century in Germany, which might be part of the reason why Germany and maybe especially Nuremberg became sort of the unofficial gingerbread capital of the world over time. And it became even more popularized when the Grimm brothers, or the Brothers Grimm, wrote the Hansel and Gretel fairy tale in 1812. Okay, back to those cross-body kicks. One side of the body, add that hop if you can and want to, otherwise just raise the leg. And if you have any trouble raising your leg, obviously, just raise your knee instead or step forward. Just keep moving, whatever you do. If you are raising your leg, keep it as straight as you can. Not just for the challenge, but in keeping with the Gingerbread Man theme. So, as gingerbread houses became more and more popular, eventually, apparently, the United States established a National Gingerbread House Day. It is always the second Saturday in December, which I had not known until I started researching trivia for this workout series. And in November 2013, get ready for cross-body kicks on the other side. In 2013, some people in Bryan, Texas built the world's largest gingerbread house. It was meant to, it was part of a fundraiser for a trauma center at a hospital. But the house itself was very, very impressive. It was apparently the size of a tennis court. It required 1,800 pounds of butter, almost 3,000 pounds of brown sugar, 7,200 eggs, 7,200 pounds of flour, and over 1,000 ounces of ground ginger. And the walls were 10 feet high. I think maybe more than 10 feet high. All right, and now we are on the water break. Keep your heart rate up though as you are hydrating yourself and catching your breath. Step touch or march or dance around a little bit. Whatever you got to do to, not fall totally into a state of rest while you are taking this break. But as one last note about that world's largest gingerbread house, apparently the sweet ingredients obviously attracted around 2,000 bees. They had to have beekeepers get rid of all the bees so that people could visit the house safely. Gotta wonder though if anybody ever ended up eating it. There were over 35,000 calories in that house, so I sure hope somebody ate it. Okay, now we are at the gingerbread run. Outstretched arms with butt kicks. Now, I don't know, you might disagree, but I was trying to imagine the most efficient way for a gingerbread cookie to run if you're going to be escaping things that want to eat you or capture you. And I felt like this was probably the best way for a gingerbread man to run. Probably the fastest way, while taking into account the limited mobility of gingerbread. Probably I was overthinking it, but sometimes it's fun to overthink, Get a lot of the most interesting thoughts from overthinking. Okay, and we are going into the Gingerbread Man dance. This can be, it's easier to show than to explain, so just look. Alright, arms outstretched, and then you're just jumping or hopping as you lift up your leg to the arm on the same side. Obviously keeping both arms and legs as straight as you can throughout the whole thing. And you know what? If you feel silly, that probably means that you're doing it right. I think this one is super fun. I enjoy it. And I imagine that for a cookie with limited movement, this is probably a pretty realistic way for them to dance. Okay, next up will be Gingerbread Man clapjacks. So this is basically like standard jumping jacks. However, instead of raising your arms over your head, you will be bringing them to the front of your body in a clapping motion. Okay, and go. You can open your palms to actually clap if you want to. I keep my fists closed just because I keep thinking, think like a gingerbread man cookie, and it always looks to me like they have closed fists. So, speaking again of gingerbread houses, just a little while ago, again, the brothers Grimm popularized the idea of gingerbread houses, as well as probably gingerbread itself. Well, it was popular before that, but they further popularized it. But even though now we have those world record holders from Bryan, Texas, who showed that you can make a 60-foot long, 42-foot wide, and 10-foot tall gingerbread house, it always seemed to me like, oh yes, now we are hopping on one leg. Sorry. Hopping on one leg because we're at the point in the gingerbread man tale where the fox has gotten to you and one of your legs is gone. So you gotta hop now. Right, so, but I always, even when I was a kid, I thought, why live in a gingerbread house? I mean, obviously I know that the witch in Hansel and Gretel was trying to attract children, and obviously that's a great way to attract children, but I couldn't understand how that would hold up and how that would be a good place to live. Seemed like it would be a lot of trouble. Okay, one-legged bird poses. So still on that same leg that you were hopping on before. Keep it down and lift up the leg that is eaten. Lean forward. In a bird pose, you don't have to keep your leg perfectly straight. Just do your best to keep your balance and hop as you come upright. Or if you have trouble with the hops for any reason, just leave the hop out. You can also just tap your foot to the floor to maintain your balance. I try to challenge myself and improve my balance by doing moves like this. And stop. We will now be doing one-legged hops with the other leg. So, in any case, as I was saying, I've tried to imagine living in a gingerbread house, or, if I had to pick any other kind of house. What kind of house? Like a house made out of food. What food would I choose? I'm not even sure. Maybe gingerbread really is the best food with which to make a house. I mean, it can be pretty sturdy. That's where its crunchiness comes from. But maybe there are other foods out there that might be better. I don't know. If you have thoughts, let me know. But for now, keep hopping on that foot. You will definitely feel the work in your balancing leg, and especially probably in the calves. And done. Okay. One-legged bird poses on the working leg. You might not think of this as a bird pose. I've heard it called other things, but I like to think of it as a bird pose because I like to pretend that I'm flying like a bird. I mean, I know that airplanes can fly as well, but I don't know, there's something charming, I guess, about a pretty bird flying. Of course, not all birds are pretty, but anyway. All birds are at least interesting. Remember to keep your arms outstretched as much as you can, in keeping with the gingerbread man theme. Just a little more. And done. Okay. Now we are to the point where your arms are getting eaten by the fox in the gingerbread man tale. So you're getting out your mat, you're doing a side plank on the elbow. Keep one arm behind your back And the kicks and the leg lifts are optional. The most important thing is that you are doing this side plank and feeling the work in your oblique that is facing the floor. I'm just adding in the kicks for as an extra challenge and to increase the oblique work. Doesn't look very graceful, but I assure you I was feeling it. And there we go. You gotta do that on the other side now. This time it's your other arm that got eaten, so you're gonna have to put it behind your back. And get ready and rise up. If you have trouble keeping both legs off the floor, then just you can keep your bottom hip on the floor if you want to, or your knee, whatever works for you, just as long as you are at least working your obliques and challenging yourself. Maybe the only way that you can add in the kick is if you modify the plank, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, and now we're going back to the top of that circuit, the runaway cookie circuit. Starting with the Gingerbread Man run. Get ready and go! In case you are curious, like I said earlier, I felt like butt kicks were probably the most efficient way for a gingerbread man to run. And you know what? I actually did test it on my neighborhood street, just a little bit, just briefly. I went running down the street with my arms outstretched, doing butt kicks just as fast as I could, and I was like, yeah, I can't imagine going quite this fast if I were, trying to keep my legs straight and just like waddling really quickly or something, although that would have been very amusing as well. Okay, doing the Gingerbread Man dance now, because you are a happy gingerbread man who is free from the old people that made you and from the things that want to eat you. Celebrate for now, not knowing the tragedy that is yet to come. Keep going, don't stop! And if you feel silly, at least we are looking silly together. Alright, all done! Okay, now we are going back to those Gingerbread Man clapjacks. Because you are still celebrating being a free gingerbread man. And go! Here's another piece of trivia in case you are curious about it. We've already talked about the world's largest gingerbread man house. Or Gingerbread Man house. That reminds me of the comic that I think probably everybody has seen, because I'm pretty sure it went viral, with the gingerbread man who isn't sure if he is made of house or if the house is made of flesh. Oh, so dark, so funny. Going back to the one-legged hops, better choose your favorite leg or your least favorite leg. If you have, hopefully you value them both equally though, if you're fortunate enough to still have them both. hop, hop, hop. Okay, the record for the world's largest gingerbread man, not house, but man, goes to an IKEA store in Oslo, Norway. They made, I don't know why, I don't know the story behind this, but they made a gingerbread man cookie in one piece, mind you, all in one piece, that weighed 1,435 pounds. I feel like one of these days I have to read more on that or like watch a video about it or something. I'm sure that there is something out there, because that sounds crazy to me and I have no idea how they would have pulled that off. But that was back in 2009. Okay, going back to those one-legged bird poses on one side. Now, if you do not feel graceful while doing this, well, obviously join the club, the Gracelessness Club. But I tell you, you know, I feel this one in my legs and in my core as I try to maintain my balance. It's hard. And if you have to tap your foot on the floor, I blame you, I have to do it too. But just do your best to do it on one leg to show that you can still be a runaway cookie even if a fox has eaten your leg. That's the life lesson for you to learn here, right? Okay, now to your other leg. Tell me if you started on your favorite leg or your least favorite leg, or if you just can't even think of your legs in that way. It's just, I don't actually expect you to say anything about that. It's just something silly that I have been saying for this series. But here's another thing that here's something that you really can tell me if you'd like to in the comments. Tell me if you are good at making gingerbread houses. And if you have any cool gingerbread houses that you would like to share. Post a picture or a link to a picture or a video or something. I'd be very interested in seeing them. I am not very good at building gingerbread houses myself, although I do love to eat them, and sometimes I just eat them without even trying to build the house. But I can certainly appreciate it as an art form. Okay. One-legged birds on the other leg. I have seen pictures and videos of some really incredible gingerbread houses, and I am a little envious of the talent that some people clearly have for them, but you know, we all have our talents. I'm just happy some people are willing to share theirs. And one more. Ha! Now get ready for those one-armed side planks. You chose your favorite and least favorite legs. Now you have to choose your favorite and least favorite arms to decide on the order that you're going to torture them. I am just kidding. I hope that that's totally clear. Okay, and we are kicking to the side and to the front if you can. And fortunately, you can kick even if you modify. And please do not be embarrassed if you do modify. Or, you know, if you don't modify the plank, but you're choosing not to kick, or you're only kicking one direction, look, it's all fine. You're working, you're making it through a challenging 45-minute workout, you're almost done. You should be nothing but proud of yourself. And just finishing up that rep there. All right, the other side, and then we'll be all done with this one. Get ready, get set, and go! This is it. This is it. This is the home stretch. You can do it. You can do it. You want to feel as awesome and delicious as a gingerbread man cookie. This is how you do it. Speaking of, I love gingerbread cookies and gingerbread in general. I love cinnamon and the spices that usually go with cinnamon. Let me know if you actually like gingerbread or not, and what treats you would prefer if you don't love gingerbread. All right, you did it. Now relax. Oh, except bonus move. Bring your arms up and just rock back and forth on your tummy. This is another great one for pretending that you are a gingerbread man cookie on a pan, except that you were baked backwards. It's just a fun little bonus move. You think of it as a holiday gift. Happy holidays! Here's an extra exercise. I know that's what you wanted, right? It's the gift that keeps on giving or something. Okay. Alright, now it is time to stretch. Alright, we'll start with those triangle stretches. To the side. Nice. And in just a moment we will switch to the other side. Almost there, you guys. So awesome that you made it this far. Now you can tell everyone that you are as magical and delicious as a gingerbread man cookie. And of course, if they ask you what the heck you mean, just link them to this video. Good mornings again. If your arms are exhausted, and they might be, because holding them out for 45 minutes can certainly help make them feel toned, like you worked them out, even without actually working them. You can put them down to your sides. I would not blame you. Stretch your hamstrings, stretch your quads after this. Okay, you did it! Congratulations! You're awesome. Thanks for being here. Now go eat a cookie.